Do you have 5 minutes? Really, just 5 minutes, maybe even a little bit less.
A couple of weeks ago, we were down at the beach, and it was an absolutely marvelous morning. And as the morning is going on, Amy and I are just sitting there watching the waves and doing some reading. But this little bird, this little ruddy turnstone, right in the picture you see in front of you right now, kept running back and forth trying to get something to eat. And he is just working like there is no tomorrow, running back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And every time he'd get anything good, some big seagull would come along and chase him away and steal his food. But then he'd go right back down to the beach or down to the water, and he would try to find something else, constantly moving, constantly running. Well, at one point, about 10:30 in the morning, maybe 11 o'clock, he came up to within maybe 5 feet of where we were sitting. And I'm watching this little guy, and you could see his eyes glazing over. He just could not stay awake. He had grown so tired just running back and forth and back and forth. And finally, I watched him quite literally plop down right in front of us on the sand, and his colorations blended right in. He just looked like some seagrass or some seaweed on the shore. And I watched his eyes, and they just, click, fell right to sleep. Right in the middle of the morning, heat of the morning. It was just the funniest thing. Right there, with all these people around, this little ruddy turnstone is sound asleep. By the way, he wasn't sick, because a couple minutes later, a couple kids came by and were making noise, and he instantly woke up and flew away, making sure that he was safe. He wasn't sick. He just knew how to take a nap. I wonder what we could learn from that ruddy turnstone.
Do you ever find that you have trouble sleeping? Just going to sleep or staying asleep? Do you have trouble taking a nap? Well, as I thought about that little tiny bird we saw at the beach, he had no worries. Now, there were lots of things around there that he could have been worried about. There were things that would want to eat him. There were other big birds. There are osprey and things of that nature that would be thrilled to have him for dinner. There's the potential shortage of food. What happens if he can't find the food that he needs to eat? What happens if a storm comes up? There are just all kinds of lists of things that tiny little bird could have been worried about. But yet, when he got tired, he just simply sat down and took a nap. You know what? Even Jesus himself found that he was able to take a nap.
These words from Mark 4. That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm.
In the stilling of the storm, Jesus is on a boat, and a storm comes up. Now, it says it was evening, but in most cases, these sailors did not go out at night. Remember, they didn't have the lights that we have today, and unless it was a moonlit night, then there was no way to navigate. And if a storm was coming up, it would not have been moonlit. This is not someplace they would have been, so most probably it was during the day. And where do we find Jesus in the middle of a storm? He's taking a nap. How could Jesus in the middle of a storm take a nap? Well, of course, he is the Son of God. He has the ability to still the waves and the storm and the whole 9 yards. I got that. But I think at the core, what Christ has is the understanding, the faith that all is well. And even Jesus himself found that there were times when he just needed to lay down and take a nap. He had to sleep. My dear friends, we can sit and worry about all kinds of problems in the world. You know what? Just like that little bird, all kinds of things could happen to you and me. But our Father in heaven, God in heaven, who counts the hair, and I wish he would count a few and let them stay where they are. But anyhow, our God in heaven knows our needs and will take care of us. So this afternoon, if you find you're tired, take a nap. And tonight, when you lay down to go to bed, just go to sleep. Sleep well, because no matter what's happening in your life, God loves you and God will be with you. Have a great week.